So, welcome back to Father of Two Plays Pillars of Eternity. So, we've just started the White March, and this is the second episode of the White March. We got some leveling to do. Let's start with the main character. Gonna up our mechanics. Ooh, do I save and get it up one more? I think I will. I'll save it next time. I'll get it up one more, and I think then we'll go into survival. Now, I'm thinking, well, we might want to take one of these for our companion. However, I was thinking maybe we want to pick a weapon type to use. Maybe not. Envenomed strikes. 3 per rest, that would be nice. 2 weapon style, no. Beast Slayer, no. Interrupting blows. That could be good. No. I'm torn here. And what about utility? I don't move around a lot, but that could be handy. Okay, so he could use this on himself. No. No. Arms bearer. No. Fast runner, maybe. No, you know what? I think we're gonna go with the interrupting blows. Grants interrupting blows. Plus 15 interrupt. Yeah, let's do that. Done and done. And then Aloth, who's looking spiffy in his finery. And with his soul-bound weapon as well. I guess we're going into lore. Now, we want another spell for sure in the 4th level. Huh. That actually sounds pretty cool. Summons a trio of powerful tentacles that cannot move, but can inflict crush and corrode damage. And the stuck affliction on anyone they hit. That's pretty cool. Ball of flames. Hello. That sounds pretty good too. Iron skin, can that be used on anyone? No, the caster's skin, okay. Essential Phantom. Creates a ghostly double of the caster, causing shock damage to enemies hit by it. A duplicate. That could be cool. Oh no, that sounds like what we need. Though Dimensional Shift does sound cool too. Let's go with Confusion. And now we get to pick another one of these. Ooh, 2 per rest. That's pretty good. Bonus 2nd or 3rd level spell. That could be good. We want one that gives us, yeah, scepter, a rod. Let's do that. Let's do the weapon focus. Should we? I think so. Though I am tempted by these 2. Or these 4, sorry. Yeah, you know what? Let's get Penetrating Blast. Okay, done and done. Next. Aloth. Or, sorry, Adir. We just did Aloth. He's looking particularly bad-arse. So we have to save up to get more athletics. Let's do that, then. Another knockdown. Ooh. We don't use Defender a lot, but that could be handy. Let's see. Did we get Sword and Shield? I think we did. Hold the line. Grants the character a new defensive strategy. Okay. Let's do that. An extra 1. Permanent. There's other things we could get him, but I think that one is worth it. Okay, and that's everybody for now, though everyone else must be close. So, yeah, there was a fire, and we had to rescue it from a baby? No. we had to rescue somebody from the fire. There was 2 people in there, and we got to pick who went in. We picked the main character, and we could only get the one person out. We couldn't save the other. Though we tried. At least we rescued somebody and we didn't die. Tiana? It's all whispery in here.
Gone? Have those nasty brutes finally left?
They have. These teeth have been sanded smooth in preparation for carving.
I heard the ogres outside, tearing down walls and murdering folk. Don't remember how things got this bad.
The elderly woman kneads her hands. Her knuckles are swollen knobs, and her palms are rigid with calluses that scrape and rasp as she rubs them together.
But you're the new adventurer. Renengild's latest volunteer.
She squints at you, leaning precariously forward on her wobbling legs.
A real spitfire, she told me. Bet you'd whip those layabouts at the mine into shape.
I like her laugh. Suddenly she cackles. I'd like to ask you about something.
Did you say something, dear?
Tell me about yourself.
I was the overseer at the mine, back when it was running. Got shut down decades ago when we couldn't sell or ship the stuff.
Pardon me, I'm drinking some liquid.
But I still remember plenty about the mining business. And I got as many folk as I can digging out the entrance.
She taps her head, a spotted dome under a thinning thatch of hair.
Been praying to the salty wench that I don't forget too much afore they finish the job.
She winks. Okay,
Got
that's
to
all.
Speak up? My hearing ain't what it was.
All right.
Hey.
Nice to meet you. We also saved the town from ogres. They started the fire. I guess, you'll have seen it. If you haven't, you should go back and watch from the beginning. Well,
of course.
Unless you already saw the beginning. You should watch everything that happens. It's all important.
There's little town left, if there was much of one to begin with.
Be quiet. Okay, so we got the fishery, Renengild's house, Durgan's battery, the Graf's Rest, Stalwart Hot Springs, the wagon, Temple of Andra, back to the Deerwood, Longwatch Falls, and Thirsk's house. So let's go to Renengild's here. We're there anyway. Thought I already clicked the door. You see a middle-aged woman and a younger man locked in an argument. Both wear clothes streaked with blood and dirt. The young man turns to the woman, a fresh cut visible below his eye.
They've destroyed the stockade, Mother. It's...
Enough. They're gone.
She holds up a hand, which is missing the final joint of the ring finger, but it's her voice, sharp and steely, that silences the young man. As he glowers at his toes, she turns to you with the dark circles under her eyes and a smile pulled taut across her thin lips.
The deliverer of Cadnua. Thank you for making the journey. Abidan knows it's a long one.
Abidan, okay. I would have said Abaddon.
I'm sure you wagered on a more civilized welcome. Still, we're much obliged for your capable intervention.
She takes a slow breath. She shoots the young man a brief but stern glare. He pulls a knife from his belt and an apple from his pocket and sets to work. It was no trouble. I'm here to help however I
Perhaps you
can.
can help us find something.
She folds the page in her hand with a quick and merciless pinch.
Stalwart isn't much more than a grease stain on a map. What roads we've got in the White March are basically tracks in the snow. And for every trader or adventurer that comes through, 3 of our own leave for good. But it weren't always so. There was a time when kings and queens sent their firstborn to these mountains, when the White March was the envy of empires.
Her eyes shine, and for an instant she looks like a much younger woman. How the mighty have fallen! What an era that must have been for the White March.
The Pogren dwarves transformed the White March once. We could bring some of that greatness back to Stalwart. But we need the White Forge.
She raises the map and taps a spot in the middle of the white and gray expanse. Never heard of it.
Of course. Been over 200 years since anyone's felt so much as a summery breeze near it.
She smooths the creased map.
I'm hoping you can do something about that.
She ignores the young man who shakes his head at the crackling logs. How so?
We've been trying to breach Durgan's battery for over a year now. Problem is, the other expeditions can't so much as dent the front door.
She rubs at her fatigue-shadowed eyes. Tell me about these other expeditions.
A dozen different groups have come through at our request, and several more besides. Been hoping that one of them could clear the way through Durgan's battery. But young or old, green or seasoned, it don't seem to matter. They cast their spells, chisel at the door, and search the grounds until they've worn new treads into the old stone. The lucky ones eventually go home. Plenty more find themselves on the wrong side of a blizzard, or an ogre raiding party.
Why the sudden interest in the White Forge?
We're an old mining town. Or we were until the Adirans pulled out and left us with a half-dug mineshaft and something resembling an inn.
She thumps the sturdy wooden wall with her fist.
Since then, it's been a steady decline. You've seen the roads. Isn't much we can produce that the Valians can't ship cheaper. But the White Forge, well, if we could fire it up again and start producing Durgan steel, or something close to it, wouldn't matter if we're in the White March or the Living Lands, business would come.
She folds her arms and gives you a stiff nod. The young man says nothing, but he tosses a sliver of the apple peel into the fireplace. And that's why you need my help.
That's the long and short of it. We're laborers and fisherfolk, not adventurers.
Renningild nods.
But Durgan Steel could put Stalwart on the map again. Open up the mines, bring in new business. We just need the White Forge.
She thumps the desk with her fist. Why is Durgan Steel so special?
Because you can shave stone with it, cleave cast iron in two, and the stuff's as rare as it is remarkable.
In her enthusiasm, Renningild shifts on the balls of her feet. She props one bent arm on the other, pointing distractedly towards the eaves of the house. If you had a suit of armor made out of that, bet people would get tired of trying to stab you after a while and just give up.
If we could make something even half as good, we'd have a market at our doorstep and work enough for all of Stalwart.
For a split second, her gaze flickers to Uldric. How is it no one's gotten into Durgan's battery yet?
Where should I start? Ogres, blizzards, or sheer damned inaccessibility?
She ticks the items off on her fingers.
It ain't for lack of trying, I'll tell you that much. Got untold riches in Durgan Steel lying just inside, and never mind the White Forge itself. The Adirans who first settled Stalwart tried to crack it. So did the Valians, and every other cocky adventurer with more metal than sense.
She folds her arms, shaking her head at a pitted floorboard.
But the place has a funny way of sealing itself up. Front door stays shut, the tower entrances are clogged with rubble, and it's been impossible to blast a way in.
Renningild trails off, and for a moment the room is silent but for the popping and cracking of the fire. What happened to Durgan's battery?
It don't bear dwelling on. There's too many superstitions about that place as it is.
She waves her mangled hand in a broad crescent, averting her gaze.
Killed each other off. Or so the old books say.
He glares at Renengild through hooded eyes.
Plenty of tales to go around, but none of them open the battery. And the last thing people need is another reason to fear the place.
She scowls at him. Kith do enjoy their ghost stories, though the Gladfithans take theirs very seriously.
Whatever it was, the other Pargrin dwarven settlements in the White March, Bone Picker, the Hawk, and the rest, emptied out not long after, moved to gentler, greener lands.
Had the right idea, if you ask me.
I don't see why you need the White Forge to make good steel.
Finally, someone talking sense.
He raises his knife and half-peeled apple to the fire in a dramatic gesture of exasperation.
Durgan steel wasn't just good. It was some of the best. We need the best if we're going to keep Stalwart alive.
She glares at Uldric, even while she speaks to you.
No one alive today has seen the White Forge, but the old stories tell that it was powerful, glowed white-hot, and gave off a steady, even heat, unlike any other furnace. Let better-schooled folk puzzle over how the thing was built. I just want to see it put to use.
She waves a hand. Tell me about the Pargrun dwarves.
Pargrin's a word in their language.
Pargrin.
Means traveler. They've been wanderers for generations, but I couldn't tell you much more.
All right, any idea of where I should begin?
The battery's up the mountain to the north. A good hike away.
She jerks her head in the direction of the slope behind the house.
Near Galvino's place, huh?
Uldric says it in a breezy tone, but Renengild falls suddenly silent, consternation hardening the lines of her face. He smiles and draws his knife across the apple again.
So it is. Though I was going to suggest dealing with that ogre camp before anything.
Who's Galvino?
Mestre Galvino, as the old crosspatch prefers it, lives by himself and keeps the wilder and beasts at bay through sheer foulness of his temper.
She means to say he's a skilled smith and animancer, who's lived in the shadow of Durgan's battery for over a decade.
He looks over his shoulder at you and Renengild. Sorry, I missed something she said. Oh, she rolls her eyes. And by animancy's flimsy standards, that makes him an expert, does it? He folds his arms. Oh, sorry, obviously that was Aloth if you could see the picture.
And he butters his bread on both sides and fits his left shoe before his right. But that's neither here nor there.
She crosses her arms and crumples the page in one tightening fist. You seem flustered all of a sudden. Did he do something to anger you? Perception 14.
Me and the rest of the town. He knows better than to linger at our gates.
She laughs quickly. What happened with Galvino?
Old lunatic finally went too far. And we sent word to the Valiant Academies.
She frowns.
I don't like speaking on it, but if you want to get his guff, just remind him that we gave him the boot.
I see.
Ain't nobody here fond of the man, but he's a clever hand and a quick study. It's a fool who thinks he stayed so close to the battery without figuring something about it.
Good point.
You said as much to the last party, and we haven't seen hide nor hair of him since. Maybe they didn't run afoul of Baragon's ogres after all.
She raises a gray eyebrow at him. Uldric shrugs and turns back to the fire.
Just watch your step. Galvino's place is a ways east of the battery, and folk who pass it bring unsettling tales.
She shakes her head. Well, tell me about the ogre camp.
Belongs to Flames That Whisper, Matron Baragon's clan. Hunters tell me they've been active of late.
Hunting elk and otherwise minding their own damn business.
He pops an apple wedge into his mouth and chews it aggressively.
Minding their own business. Never mind the latest expedition's disappearance, or the broken stockade.
She pinches the bridge of her nose, squinting.
I'm saying we shouldn't agitate him further.
He makes to toss another slice of peel into the fire, but he fumbles and drops his knife. He bends to pick it up, cursing. What does the matron have to do with anything?
The brawl outside was just the latest patch of trouble. The ogre clans are getting bolder, and we'll all sleep easier knowing they aren't circling our walls. Also, Baragons like to have whatever the last expedition found. Rumor has it they disappeared near her turf.
She crosses her arms and looks over at Uldric.
Killing a matron will only make our problems worse. The way to approach Baragon is with your hands held high.
You've made your point, Uldric. Our guest has a soft heart, not a soft head.
Alright,
Good.
got it.
Before you leave town, stop by the Graves Rest. Most
Graves.
visitors to Stalwart spend some time there, so Halfric and his patrons may be able to give you the lay of the land.
Don't know about you, but I'm parched all of a sudden. Actually, I wanted to ask you about something.
What's on your mind?
I want to know more about Stalwart.
Adir founded us back in their colonial days to supply ore to the Empire. Saw a fair bit of traffic from both sides of the White March then.
She rubs the nub of her shortened ring finger.
But after the Deerwood claimed independence, Defiance Bay found cheaper places to get ore. Didn't have much reason to maintain our supply routes.
Isn't Stalwart part of the Deerwood?
Officially. Though with the state the roads are in, you wouldn't guess it.
Tell me some of the more important places around town.
Here in the center? Let's see. The Graves Rest is next door. Halfric can set you up with a room and a hot meal there. The fishery's just on the edge of the lake, and the Temple of Andra is next to it. No one keeps a secret like Lavda. Or so I'm told. A few folk live in this part of town, too. Seemed a lot safer before the ogres broke through the western gate. Thiersch lives next to the old mine shaft, and Tana, the old mine overseer, is next door to me.
She jerks her thumb toward the wall. What do you do here?
I'm the mayor. Or so I'm reminded every time there's a game shortage, ogre attack, or a neighborly dispute.
Pardon me, just had to turn off my heat.
I'm a builder by trade, though. Traveled all over Air Glonfoth and the Deerwood in my younger days, but ended up back here anyway.
She gives you a vague smile that's gone as quickly as it appears. Let's talk about
What's
something
on your
else.
mind?
I have questions about Durgan's Battery and the White
Pargrin
Forge.
dwarves guarded it like a mother bear.
Okay.
What's on your mind?
Thought we had already spoke about that. Can you tell me anything about the last expedition that went to Durgan's
I
Battery?
didn't volunteer much, and I knew better than to ask.
She scratches her jaw, frowning.
I've seen all types charging through here. Professional companies with shiny new equipment as brazen as you please, and hopeless runts with nothing but tattered leathers. But these folk, I don't know what they were after.
Right, they
and
might
the way
be.
they looked at you made you
the
feel
leaden key.
cold all over.
She shakes her head as if dislodging a bad
Wish
dream.
I could tell you more.
Perhaps we'll find more in the battery itself, yes? He nods at you with a guarded look, Aleth.
What's on your mind?
Okay, farewell.
Hey,
We should go speak to her son, actually, now that I'm leaving. The thought crosses my mind. We're gonna speak to everyone in town before we leave.
Been looking everywhere for you.
Excuse me? Taldor, is that you talking to me? Let's level up Kana. Let's see, let's up his stealth. And that's all for now. Can't get level 3 ones yet? Okay. Charm, okay. Sure, let's do that. 3 worms to fight for us? Hells yeah. We don't have ancient memory, do we? Huh. Do we have ancient memory? I don't even know. Well, let's get him something marksman. So, +5 accuracy against distant enemies? Sure, that sounds pretty good. Though maybe we want to up our attack with pistols? Are they possible to up? Yeah, pistol. Ruffian. Sure. Upped accuracy with our pistol? That seems good. And now we can summon worms. That seems cool. Alright, let's go talk to the sun, then we'll talk to that guy who seems to really need to speak with us.
Something else you need?
Do you know anything about Durgan's battery?
It's a fool's hope. A fantasy that's kept these parts inhabited longer than they should be.
He glances around the old house and its worn furnishings.
They say the Pargrunan dwarves developed Durgan's steel, became powerful, rich. And then one day, they locked their doors and died.
He shrugs, turning his palms towards you.
Nothing like a mystery to stir folk up. Most of Stalwart is convinced that some Pargrin secret will save us all. But that don't stop them from whispering a prayer when they pass the old fortress.
A sour smirk crosses his lips. Earlier, you said I should make peace with Matron Barragan.
About the only thing folk here haven't tried. Killing one more matron won't change things for long.
He shakes his head.
Besides, her clan's flames that whisper. The one that attacked us was Wolf with many mouths. I'd know him anywhere.
They're cut from the same cloth, Uldric.
Are they?
Only a matter of time before Barragan marches through that gap in our walls.
At the sound of Reningild's voice, Uldric's shoulders stiffen. His jaw works in a silent but furious retort. You seem to disagree with Reningild on quite a few matters.
Mother's convinced that a magic forge will turn this frozen crack into a hub of civilization. She can't accept this place is dying.
He shrugs.
Me? I'd just as soon move on.
He scrapes the sole of his boot on the straight but weathered floorboards. What do you do
I'm
here?
a carpenter. Mother's a builder. So it felt like a good fit at the time.
He presses his lips into a wry frown.
Not that we've got a lot of new folk to build houses and furnishings for. These days, I spend most of my time fixing up the stockade.
Alright, farewell.
Hey.
So let's talk to this other man and continue around the town. Is this the whole town?
Into the wilderness?
Yeah, it might be. Oh, hello. Heard I might find you here. A stocky, red-faced man gives you a pleasant, if awkward, smile. Pleasure to meet you. I'm the, captain of the militia around here. Really? I didn't see you during the ogre attack. See, I was, guarding the Grave's Rest. Someone had to make sure those ogres didn't burn it down like they did Katie's house. Damn shame, that. He frowns and shakes his head solemnly. I wanted to catch you before you went running off into the wild. See, there's a few dangerous folk you might be on the lookout for. Plus, if you're heading out to Longwatch Falls, I thought you might could pick up a thermal pearl for me. He looks away and twists the toe of his boot into the snow. You want me to find a thermal pearl for you? That's the thing, I already found it. I just need someone else to go out and get it. Saw it in the hot springs up near Longwatch Falls. Would have grabbed it myself, but that's when I looked around and saw the Logwafieth. Must have been 50 of them. He spreads his arms wide. I would have fought, but I started to wonder what the rest of Stalwart would do without me, so I ran, for the sake of the village, of course. Yeah, you sound like a real hero. What's a thermal pearl, anyway? They form in the hot springs, sometimes something to do with all the minerals in the water. Smell kind of funny, but they're full of minerals. Just have to crumble them into a pint, he grins, and you notice his gums are bleeding. Survival 4. They cure scurvy. Like I said, the pearls in one of them thermal pools near Longwatch Falls shouldn't be hard to spot. Tell me more about Longwatch Falls. It's east of Stalwart, got some nice views of the valley, but most folk avoid it these days. Plenty of wilder nearby, and it only takes a few inches of snow to block the pass. If you're heading out that way, I'd suggest talking to Thirsk. He's might have something to help you deal with the Lagafeeth. Lagafeeth? Strange word. Stop by Thirsk's place before you leave town. His is the house next to the mines. He's a veteran hunter who knows the wilds better than anyone. You said something about dangerous folk in the wilderness? We get our share of crazies out here. Most of them aren't even from the village. He laughs at his own joke. Latest group I'd heard of were the Gleaming Society and the Sisterhood of the Slaked Skull. But Guild set aside some bounty money to see that these troublemakers were taken care of. You bring me the heads of their leaders, and I'll give you the payment. I want to know about the Gleaming Society. Crazy pack of radicals that want to topple the governments and kill the wealthy. Makes the War of Defiance look like a food fight. Duke Avar and the Regent of Red Saris both declared them illegal, which is probably the only thing those two would agree on. Anyway, check Longwatch Falls to the east. That's where they were last seen. Who leads the Sisterhood of the Slaked Skull? That'll be Mesla. All of the members of the Sisterhood worship Barath by sending as many folks back to the wheel as they can. He shivers. Ugh. They've been poking around Durgan's battery, and Weil only knows why. But you can understand why no one around here was pleased to hear about it. Passed through town recently, didn't stay long, and they stopped at the Temple of Andra. You might see if Lafta knows something. If you come across them, be careful. They're unpredictable. Let's talk about something else. Alright, farewell.
Hey.
Rayfall. Godlike. This man startles visibly at the sight of you, though he attempts to hide it with a queasy smile.
You're the one we have to thank for fighting off the ogres, right? Never thought I'd see one of the God-touched. I would have helped fight them monsters off, you know, if I didn't think I'd just get in the way. And with you there to handle things, everything turned out well enough, didn't it? Don't see why Havrick's still sour at me.
What's this about Havrick?
Oh, Havrick's the innkeeper over at the Grave's Rest. I may have been hiding in the inn when the fighting started. The raid didn't improve his disposition any.
Rayfall coughs.
Did you know he has a whole case of Fenlin liquor in there? I keep offering to buy it off him, but he says he's saving it up for when the battery's open again. As if we're gonna last that long. Anyhow, he said he'd thrash me up and down the mountain if I didn't leave him be.
Seems reasonable to want to save it for a special occasion.
It's delusional is what it is. Point of fact, what with you dealing with ogres and everything, maybe you'd, you know, be willing to help me out.
Are you asking me to steal it? Because I won't do that. Oh, bravo! Subtle indeed.
Havrick keeps all the good stock in the inn cellar. Out of sight, you see. I mean, it's bound to be under lock and key, but I'm sure he wouldn't miss a single bottle. Not with everything that's going on.
I'm not going to rob the innkeeper for you.
Shh, all right, keep it down. I didn't mean anything by it. But if you happen to come across some, then maybe you could share?
Sure. We'll go to the inn last, I think. So let's check the map. Hot springs are here. So we got some bounties. Quests. Let's check our map again. Okay, let's go to Thirsk's home. Make sure we explore around as much as is necessary. Ringer berries. Oh, it looks like our good friend Durance has leveled up as well. Durance. Yeah, we'll save up for your next level of lore. Empowered Interdiction. The priest's condemnation of an enemy becomes more apt, increasing the accuracy of his or her interdiction abilities. Or ability. Okay, so it's more likely to hit. That's good. Priests are able to channel their fury through interdiction, adding a painful weakening affliction to the attack. Enemies take burn damage from the priest's holy radiance. Okay. That's not bad. Inspired Flame. The Faithful of Magran gain an accuracy bonus with sword and arquebus and can cast a special version of the Burst of Summer Flame. No. Aggrandizing Radiance. minus 75% healing, but it does up everyone's stats significantly. And that gives them accuracy. Let's do empowered interdiction. And done.
It must be soon. 2 days, no more.
Dirsk, this dwarf is busy staring into the fire, slowly puffing away on his pipe. As you greet him, he's visibly started and his pipe clatters to the floor.
Sorry. Didn't hear you come in. My ears aren't what they used to be.
He stoops, wincing, to retrieve his pipe. When he rises again, he has a hand against his side. Are you hurt?
Wasn't the ogres, I can tell you that. Put a few arrows in one of those and they generally have the good sense to back off. But I've been hunting this wolf for near a year now. A man-eater. Cunning, nasty thing. Every time I get close, it just slips away.
Must be hard being a hunter without good hearing.
The beast has already claimed many lives. The first victim was my son, Saldrin.
Ah, my condolences, man. Thirsk looks down at his pipe for a moment, features hardening.
Got the better of me this last time. Distracted me long enough for one of its kin to turn up. Nearly bit me clean in half. I'm a few weeks out from trying again.
He winces. Hunter, I'm a hunter myself. I could track this wolf for you.
It needs doing. But I warn you, this beast is not to be trifled with. It must make its lair somewhere to the west. If you mean to go there, keep your wits about you. Watch yourself on the mountain. In these lean times, everything looks like prey to something.
Who are you?
I'm Thiersch.
Thiersch.
I've lived here long enough that Kith have started calling me the Old Hunter. And that's about all I can say for myself.
I have some questions.
Coming to your elders for advice, is it? What can I do for you?
Tildor said I should talk to you before I head to Longwatch Falls. Man, good thing you did. Hot Springs North at Road are crawling with Lagofeath. I'm surprised Tildor found himself out there. The thing to know about Lagofeath is they're fast. Tolerant to cold, too, so try another angle of attack. Something seems to occur to him. He pats his pocket, clenching his pipe between his teeth. I like this guy already. These have come in handy. Use them if you get in trouble. He hands you a few sealed bottles. The old hunter looks you up and down, puffing on his pipe. 2 potions of mirrored image. If I'm being honest, though, I'd say those beasts are still going to be a challenge for you. I know you held your own against those ogres, but it might be wise to wait a spell before taking on those Lagofeath. He taps his pipe ashes into the fire pit. I love their houses. I would love to live in a house like this. I always wanted a hearth in my house. One day, maybe. What can you tell me about Stalwart?
Well, I can tell you it won't be here much longer if things go on as they are. With the mines closed, we've lost what put us on the map in the first place. We're losing people every month. Too many mouths to feed and not enough to support them. Even the game's dwindling. I've been lucky. I've hides and horns enough to keep the traders happy, but now the ogres are picking the rest of us off.
What can you tell me about the ogres? Only that they've been coming down in force again and again, trying to drive us out, or kill us outright.
The moment we started looking into Durgan's battery, it was like we'd kicked a hornet's nest. You made a good showing against that last group. Didn't expect you'd be one of the godlike. But then, if anyone was going to turn up here at the ass end of nowhere to save our hides...
Why's the hunting so poor?
It's been a colder season than usual, and the elk herds aren't faring well. We're stuck fighting with the ogre clans and the wolves over what's left. And not to mention the occasional beast. We've lost a lot of young hunters.
Has the legacy struck stalwart as well?
It has. We had some hope in the early days that we'd be spared, isolated as we are. That hope died in a hurry. Not everyone's been so unlucky, of course. You'll see a few pampered sprats around.
This poor guy lost his son. Treating them like precious stones won't see him grow up any faster, if at all. The sudden sorrow in his features belies his soft laughter. You must have some interesting hunting stories.
Long hours checking snares and waiting out elk, mostly. Used to hunt some of the big ones. Bear, stelgare. But up here, it comes down to necessity.
Stelgare.
Which
okay.
means keeping stalwart fed, or else keeping it safe. Thing is, the last hunt didn't go so well, as you can see.
That's all the questions I had. Thirsk only inclines his head in acknowledgement, tapping out his pipe. Farewell.
Hey.
So we will hunt that wolf. The shaft of each spear is splintered and broken, each of them held together only by tightly bound leather scraps. These necklaces have been made from the teeth and claws of various predators, wolves, bears, and lions. Interesting. I am very intrigued by the hunt.
Of course.
So where to next? We'll check out the wagon, I guess. And I guess we shouldn't head to the falls right away, from what he said. The Orland bows to you. Ah, the adventurer who saved the village! So good of you to visit my humble wagon. I'm Eudoran. How's business? He gestures at the village around him. Poor, like this place. Not much coin to be made trading in furs and fish. I came to the White March because I assumed there would be no competition, and I have none because there's nothing to compete over out here. Would you like to trade? If you're not making any money out here, why do you stay? His eyes lower. I was rather vocal about my inevitable success with my friends and family. If I give up and return with little more than I left, then his hands ball into fists. No, it won't be like that. I'm not giving up yet. Show me what you have for sale. Ooh, raiment of whale's eye. Tundra clothing. Grants mirrored image when hit by a critical hit. Wow, that's pretty freaking cool. This great cloak is covered in a multitude of stylized eyes, symbols of the god whale. It is said to have been created by the wizard Gorin, who hoped that the pious endeavor might invoke whale's protection. Set against the many eyes of the 100 mysteries, Gorin hoped his enemies would stumble after falsehoods, while he would remain resistant to the bewildering effects of the world's mysteries. Those who have come across the cloak since have found much use in its enchantments, but what became of Gorin himself is unknown. However, for nothing else remains of the man or his works. Ultimate hat of alluring perfection. Minuses your resolve and your intellect, but your might and constitution go up. Won't bother reading that right now because I will probably end up coming back here and buying some of these. +2 enemies needed to flank. +2 perception. Mark II. Ring of deflection. What's this buckle do? That's not bad. Gauntlets of accuracy. Those seem like they're worth my time if I had the money, which I don't seem to. Scrolls, traps, potions, and ingredients. Oh, but at the bottom here we have camping supplies, pry bars, rope and grappling hook, lock picks. Well, we'll take these things. And lockpicks, let's take all 8. Sure, that seems good. I know my timer went off. Oops. But I don't want to quit yet. Okay. I mean, I probably should.
Hey.
What else do we have to check out, though? Temple of Andra. Well, let's go outside the Temple of Andra, and then we'll end the episode, I guess. So, until next time, if you enjoyed it, please leave me a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and let's see what's about to happen. I'll find it without your help. Not giving up, you hear me? Charlatans, Okay, well, let's speak with this guy. A dwarf paces with his head down and arms crossed, only stopping to hurl glances at the building behind him. His face is smeared dark with grime, and soot falls from his beard as he mumbles to himself. Work my hands into bloody stumps in this place, and for what? He kicks at the mounds of dirty snow. Start with nothing, leave with less. He extends his arms out. Sorry for your loss. Don't be. I deserve all of it. The dwarf wrinkles his nose, nostrils flaring like a horse. Well, good riddance. Should have never settled here in the first place. Some things you mean to leave behind, come to find out you packed them anyway. But I'm not leaving until I recover what's mine. They can't deny me again, not after this. Okran gestures at the burnt-out buildings. Those sweet-tongued priests took my heirlooms. Bury the memories of the past, they said. Now I don't have even that. The memory of your past? A long time ago that was. Different life. I'll spare you the sob story. Talking about it's done me no favors, nor time, nor distance, nor them charlatans in there. He spits. Puh. Those priests, Andra's dog, said the goddess would forgive, that some things are best left to be forgotten. He nods towards the nearby temple. Their leader, Lafta, I believed her words. Another one of them, a gift-bearer, took my medallion. He closes his stocky hands into a fist. And now, they won't tell me where it is. Why did you want to forget about your past? It's my burden to bear, not yours. I thought to cast it away, but the memories I lost were all the wrong ones. Why won't they tell you? Because they think they know better, that's why. Said it was the only way I'd forget. What else did you give the priests? The dwarf casts a measuring look at you. He quickly turns his head away and nods. You'd understand its value. My armor, a set finer than I've ever seen, but worthless to an old elf. I'd have traded it for the medallion, but fool that I was, I gave them both. They'll respond better to tact than tirades. No, maybe there's something I can do. Not the kind of talk that I've grown used to these last few years, I admit. The priests may pretend otherwise, but folk here tend to look out only for themselves. Or only after themselves. I'd be surprised if they return it willingly. They believe it's a sacred duty to cast the offerings of the goddess in some place where they'll be forgotten. Better to find where they drop them, I think. What's Lafta's role in all of this? She leads that group of crows. They took over the temple as folks started to leave, came to unburden those that sought to forget their misery here, they say. Tell me about this medallion you want to recover. It belonged to my sister. It was a pretty trinket to her, to me. The dwarf casts his gaze down. She was the last of my family. At least they still acted like family to me. Or at least that still acted like family to me, sorry. I want to know more about your past before you settled here. It's my burden to bear, not yours. Thought to cast it away, but the memories I lost were all the wrong ones. Alright, goodbye. I don't expect luck to grace me now, but if you find anything, I'll be here. Count on it. He gives you a vigorous nod.
Hey.
Sounds like an avenue to a new suit of armor. Well, until next time, if you enjoyed it, please leave me a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought. This is Father of Two, signing off.